The Longhouse. A huge structure made entirely out of thick wooden planks and full logs. These were the now iconic dwellings of Native American people in Oregon. This longhouse in particular is a reconstruction and is used today for meetings between tribes and powwows by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, descendants of the original Willamette Valley Native Americans who lived here long before the pioneers came. The Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde consist primarily of the Shasta, Umpqua, Rogue River, Kalapuya, and Molalla tribes. All tribes lived semi-sedentary lifestyles, where villages were lived in year-round, with many temporary camps set up among the Willamette Valley to aid in their hunting and gathering pursuits. The tribes known collectively as the Kalapuya occupied a large amount of the Willamette Valley, where cities such as Corvallis now lie. There were numerous different tribes in Oregon, even within larger groups. For example, the Kalapuya were divided up among several different tribes of loosely related people. The one thing that related them together was language. While there were several dialects that were quite different from one another, they were closely related enough that the tribes could understand each other. Daily life for the men consisted mostly of fishing and hunting the game of the valley and its forests, such as birds, deer, bear, and elk. Women and children gathered plant foods that were essential to surviving the winters, as well as setting up temporary camps and fashioning crafts such as baskets and blankets. The Kalapuya in particular made use of the large supply of obsidian in Oregon to create things such as arrowheads and spear tips. Other important tools for these Oregon tribes were canoes for traversing and fishing Oregon's Willamette, Umpqua, and Mackenzie rivers. Baskets made from tree roots were very important for everything from cooking to transportation of food and water.
Baskets were huge in Oregon in general, and Northern California as well. That's a primary tool was definitely baskets and digging sticks. They were used for pretty much everything. And the other thing too that's really neat about baskets in the Pacific Northwest is they have their own distinct patterns, and they also have their own distinct direction of the weave that goes with the patterns. So depending on where you are in Oregon, if you study baskets, you'll be able to tell from what region just based on the direction of the weave.
Many Oregon tribes built their communities around the now iconic longhouses, which served as communal centers of society where rituals and celebrations were held. Longhouses were also traditionally built for multiple families to live in. Other important living structures included dome-shaped sweat rooms, which Native Americans heated using steam. Oral histories were important to all Oregon Willamette tribes, particularly in their music.
Musical expression is very important for Indigenous people as part of their daily lives. It's part of oral tradition. Oral tradition really includes music, art, dance, all these expressions, stories, words. It includes all these expressions other than writing, than a written language. So music is very important. And in the context of the tribes of Western Oregon, in that context, drum songs are really, really important. Drumming and singing, very important. But there's also many other ways that they express themselves musically with dance, and plays a big part in our daily lives. We sing at the tribe. There's a song whenever people gather. It's traditional. It's a culture to go ahead and offer a song to when people come together. There's some sort of song, some at the beginning of the meeting, depending on what the gathering is. But really, there's a protocol where a tribe or a band would have certain songs that would develop over generations, and then that would become that tribe's song. So we have our own way of singing here.
In modern day, celebrations known as powwows serve as a great way to observe Native American culture in Oregon.
They originate more from the Plains area, and all the dances that are in there originate mostly plain style, like you'll see the fancy dance, both men's and women's, and their traditional and their grass dance. Those are all more plains dances and songs. But I will say that a lot of the tribes, even though they have adopted powwows in more modern times, and it is an integral part of their culture now, that says a lot about like how culture changes over time.
Through the Spirit Mountain Community Fund, the Confederated Tribes continue another tradition of theirs called potluck, or giving, and donate $3 million to nonprofit organizations across Oregon. Through traditions such as this and powwows, the Willamette Valley Native Americans continue to express and live their rich culture and remind everyone of how special the Willamette Valley of Oregon truly is.